Hi, I'm Jason Sterling. I'm a member of the EA Creator Network, and this is Gentrification. Now, I paused the gentrification videos for a couple of weeks. Royalty and Legacy came out. I was very busy with that pack. So these videos did go on pause, but we're back. We're back where we left off. This is Forgotten Hollow. I did this starter home, right? So I rehabbed this starter home using base game and vampires assets only, and ended up with what we see here, right? Which I actually really like. I think it turned out really, really well for a starter home. It's a lot of detail to it, a lot of design to it. But the second step of gentrification is always more of the true gentrification, which is all the packs, all the money. It's when the sort of wealthy professionals move in, really rehab a place, and money's no object, right? They're going to pour everything into it. And normally I use my family, my RM Cascadian family as a family, but today we have a very special urban professional who has decided to buy this property. Who could it be? It's my own very favorite Nancy Landgrab, world's best mother, you guys, world's #1 mom. And she, I've decided, gets the esteemed position because we just had Royalty and Legacy. I'm going to use a lot of Royalty and Legacy assets in this sort of gentrified stage 2 build. And she gets to be Queen of the Damned. That's right. She gets to be Queen of the Damned. She's going to be the lady of the hour and the lady of the house here. So we're going to put her here. And this is my gift to her. It is. This is my gift to her. She gets to be queen. She gets to have that brief moment of royalty and exaltedness before I throw her ass down a hole in Bella Corday to spend a little bit of time in thought and meditation in a oubliette, thinking about the son she forsook. That's right. But I'm going to give her this first. So while she's down in the hole, she has a little something to hold on to, right? Little moment of... We're going to get started here. Now, the bad thing, of course, about gentrification in this case is I always maintain the existing footprint of the building. So we can't just build a throne room onto the side of this, although I did think of that. I did think of just building a throne room onto the side of this. But I'm going to stick with the rules as I've kind of had them established up until this point. We're going to maintain the existing footprint of this house. And instead, we're going to build our throne room right out here. We're going to just kind of put a throne room in the, or throne platform in the middle of an exterior room, in the middle of like a graveyard, right? Because where else would you have the Queen of the Dam hold her court? She's going to hold it in the middle of a graveyard. Or as she thinks of it, last night's menu. Last night's menu surrounding her, little headstones, all around her new throne coming up right now. Now, one thing right off the bat is I do think we're going to move some of this stuff. I don't know if I'm actually going to keep the gardening aspect of this lot or not. Somehow she doesn't strike me as the sort of person that gardens. She strikes me more as the sort of person who hires a gardener, and then when they get done, instead of paying them, she drains all their blood. She sucks all their blood out, leaves their body there on the ground, because she probably litters too. You know, she's probably like the worst sort of person. She grabs some fast food, she drains all their blood out, she leaves them on the floor, just on the ground, right? Like in the park, on a bench, wherever. Expect someone else to clean up all of her messes. That's another reason why she gets to go down an oubliette. But so I'm kind of torn. Should I bother with keeping her gardening area there? I don't think I'm going to. I think I'll probably just take it out completely. We're also going to remove most of this sort of scraggly sort of growth. My thought is right off the bat to maybe do a formal sort of garden out here. But I don't know. We don't really have a lot of space, and I do want the appearance of a cemetery, right? I don't know that I want a garden as much as I want a cemetery. So we're going to have to just see where we kind of come with that. I'm going to go in and use some more debug items. I used a lot of debug items when I built this basic. We're going to continue to use those, like these columns, mostly because the columns won't disappear. And they're going to represent a substantial part of our outdoor throne room, this sort of structural outline that we want to imply. So I don't want it disappearing every time we zoom into play, right? I'm also going to grab this light post, which is also from debug. We'll do one on the other side. The light posts are kind of the idea of maybe an original cemetery object. And even though Miss Landgrab here, the queen, yes queen, even though she's taken this over for her throne, her dark throne, throne of the damned, some of those aspects got left in, like the tombstones, like the headstones are going to be left in place too, right? Right. Now I'm outlining a little bit of a platform here. This is where our throne is going to go. And we're going to have a sort of stepped up, an idea of a stepped up rise to the throne. Now you do not climb up here to the throne. You do not approach Her Highness that closely. But there's a sort of suggestion of it with these steps. We're going to do something kind of close to that here in the back. Let me take a look here. Kind of think about this for a moment. I do want this. I think what I'm going to do, this is a deal. I think I want to do this here, but pull it in by one. And then we'll grab this one. Because my idea is here in the back, I want to have a series of steps leading up to the platform where she's going to sit, you know, where the throne is going to go. So I'm going to leave it open so it'll be a bit wider. I want to narrow. She needs a lot of space, okay? She didn't want to narrow, she wants something grand. It's a very grand sort of staircase here in the back. So that's what we're going to have here in the back. Just like this here. Now, I'm not real sure about this. This looked black when I was picking it out. It doesn't look as black now that I have it here. Is this one black? I think that's black. There we go. We're going to do that sort of carpet there. And there is a regular rug that also ties into that. In fact, we're going to pull up several items here from Royalty and Legacy. That's from Royalty and Legacy, those particular stairs, so that we can use them here on our exterior throne. We'll throw in our throne here real quick. We're also, I want to pull this forward just a little bit. I want to leave enough room here so that I can put this backdrop wherever it may be. We'll look through here. This right here, this backdrop here, we're going to throw it in place. We're going to use, I think, the gold. I don't know. My thought was to use the gold and red version, but she is the queen of the damned, so I don't know, maybe black is better. I think I'm gonna do the gold and red. I do, because I think even though she is the queen of the damned, and even though she does like black, right, like the color of her heart, I do think that she's going to probably be delusional enough to think that she's real royalty, and so she's going to go for that red and gold. That's what I think. That's what I'm going with. That's my justification for that one. Now, we're going to grab a chair or some chairs and put out here. I really kind of wrestled with this idea because, again, I kind of feel like this is Nancy Landgrab, and probably like you don't sit in front of the queen. Only the queen gets to sit. And so I kind of thought, you know, would she really put chairs out there? She seems like the sort of person that wants to make you uncomfortable, not comfortable, right? So I don't know. I just think that design wise it's probably going to look better. Right now, she wouldn't care about design, I know that, but I do, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it that way. That's kind of where it came in. I don't know. Now this she would approve of. This is blood red stone, so that's why we have to have it. We're going to do that, and we're also going to put in a little bit of a pony wall here. I kind of want to glass walls that we have from, what was it called? Enchanted? Was that one? Was it that one? I think it was that one, Enchanted by Nature or whatever it was. I'm going to use some of those glass walls there because the black has a really cool effect. And I don't really have a lot of need to use that sort of fancy scrolly elven looking sort of design in black. But here I think it does really work really quite well. And also, you know, I don't want a platform that you could just walk up to her. Again, this is not, you do not approach her. You don't approach her. There's a barrier here, and if you try to climb over this, she's gonna have plenty of time to grab you by the neck, suck you dry, and throw your body off to the side. So this is just a warning. Don't do it. Just save yourself. This is another one of those tough decisions, like, you know, how nice do I need to be? But the red does look very much like blood red, so It does kind of work. And I don't know. I mean, as a vampire, just because they suck all your blood out and, well, that's enough. Just because they suck all your blood out, I mean, does that really make them bad at design? Do they really have to fall back on all black? I think not. I think not. Here on this flooring, I'm at a little bit of a loss. I don't want to do anything expensive and fancy, and I kind of want to do something sort of threatening. Again, because it's Nancy Landgrab, and I think she would kind of be like that. So I looked around, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to do Jungle Adventure because it has this stuff, right? And the great thing about this is this little design here, that's poison, right? And it's dark and it's brooding. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put poison. That's the path you walk. When you walk up to address her from down below, you walk the path of poison. Let's put this here and here. And I'm going to set each of these little chairs on poison. I mean, everything's going to scream at you, save yourself. Don't be here. Why are you here? Whatever favor you hope you're going to get from her, first of all, you're not. And second of all, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Somehow she is going to win. We're just going to finish that off also with the same sort of stone from Selva Dorada. It's got a great tone. It works pretty well out here. I mean, I think it looks like old cemetery stone, actually really nicely. So we're going to put that here as well. I really debated about even putting stone out here because I kind of thought, again, she might be the sort of person, she just make you sit in like the mud and grass, right? Because most of the time in like Forgotten Hollow, it's kind of like cloudy and rainy. And that's why you're going to see here, she's the only one that gets a canopy, right? She gets a canopy here. This is not going to stay here. I've tried this before already in one of the other palaces I built. This acts as a solid object, so Sims will not go through it like they'll go through curtains. Sims will pass through curtains, so you can line a doorway with curtains and stuff like that. They will not pass through this object. So here in a little bit, we're going to set it up so that it works for the appearance, and then they'll still pass through it to get to the throne. I'm going to go into debug first and grab a few things. I'm going to grab a couple more of these bushes. I'm going to move this one here, this one here. I hope these both came from vampires so I don't have to hunt through, base game for it, but I'm going to mirror them on this side. So it has a little bit of a structural component kind of outlining our sort of throne room area. And that's what we're going to do in debug as well. We're going to grab some of these columns that don't disappear, and we're going to outline our throne room element. Now these columns, of course, are found in the Vampires debug menu. They are great because they don't disappear. So when you make them larger, and you get, or don't make them larger, just when you use them, as you get closer to play, they will not disappear. So I want to use these as sort of an idea of structure, right? We're not going to do an actual structure, that way I can maintain the my sort of concept from the start of maintaining the actual footprint of our house that we are, or our lot that we're gentrifying. But this is going to give us that appearance of structure, and I have an idea with what I think might work with these. I'm going to grab it next. It's with the Royalty and Legacy pack. We're going to try bringing in something from that next. Let's turn that like that. Now, one thing we can do is just like this as well. We've got a much more extravagant sort of column in this case. It's very easy. You just take the two columns, merge them together, and then turn one at an angle. I really like that look, and I do think I'm going to maintain that there for this particular throne room section. The other great thing about these columns, I don't know if you've noticed yet, you can move them anywhere. So they don't have to be locked to the grid as they are with a standard column. Now, we don't have hardly any of these in game. This is the only one I'm really readily aware of, but they're fantastic if you can find a use. They only come in this one swatch, but they're really, really fantastic. And I wish through all these years, a lot of the other columns that they've come out with, they would have done the same thing as they did with this one. Now here in Royalty and Legacy, we have these new sort of torchairs. You know, they're very tall, very, very bold, and they just kind of fit with these pillars, these columns that we have here. Now we can take that one out and we have a design that looks more like that. Or I kind of like it just like this, where it looks like it's, you know, in between each kind of, you know, the curved part of the column there, the little inset part of the column. And we could also make it larger. I don't know if it might get too big. I mean, we could do something. This is not really what I'm planning on doing, but we could do something like that, right? So it is very extravagant in that way. It's very, looks almost like a tree, you know, when you do it in that fashion. You could try this with a regular column, of course, so you could get a different effect, or a regular style, a different style in a regular column. The column would disappear when you get close to it, so it does kind of throw it off a little bit. But I think it's kind of a cool look. We could go here maybe and make it smaller and lift it up, kind of like we did over here by making it larger. Now I'm not going to do that, but again, I think that's a really kind of a cool look if you want to have something a little bit different. A lot of the stuff I've done over my time in building, both here and in The Sims 3, is kind of mash things together. Less so in The Sims 3 simply because we had the caste system, and so it was so easy to create custom looks just by changing their pattern and colors and stuff. But here, this is one way you can kind of do it in this fashion. I don't always build in that fashion by merging things together, but a lot of times when a pack is new, I do, because we have all these sort of new items to kind of play around with. And when the game was brand new, I especially did, just because there was not as much stuff to use. And I got real tired real fast of using the same things over and over and over. And especially coming off the heels of The Sims 3, where we had the wild ability to change so many things. These little magic beans make a great sort of add-on if you want to tuck them into different items. I use them here as toppers for these particular columns. I did it on the original build as well. They're like free. Are they free? I think they're free. They're $10. Okay, so they're $10, but that's pretty cheap. That's practically free. And you can make them very large if you want to. And it gives you a really, really, really cool effect. In this case, you know, they're angry on top of that, and so I think they kind of fit old Queen Landgrab's disposition there. So we'll put those in there. Also, you can merge two of them together. I did that a couple of times with my builds in Royalty and Legacy, where if you merge two of them together and then twist one of them, you get a pretty cool sort of striped effect to the bean. I'm trying to get in here and see if I've got this in the right spot. The tree. Okay, I'm close. There we go. I want to move the tree, but I kind of don't want to move the tree because I am going to leave it there. I think I'll put another bunch of trees like this on this other side, so it kind of frames it like a back wall for this particular throne room. Now let's go ahead and fix this canopy. And I don't know, I am so torn. I'm still looking at this thinking, would I rather it was black? I think I'm going to go with black. I just think the red is just too regal. You know, it's just too regal for her. She does not deserve it. She does not deserve to have red. I'm going to move this light fixture over here. Also, real quick, I'm going to grab a couple of these other light fixtures because we're going to replicate that look on this other side. This lamppost from Debug is, you know, really cool. Very nice. But it doesn't actually really put out any light. The top of it does have a sort of glow effect, but it doesn't put out any real ground effects or surrounding effects like a real light bulb does. So I just inserted those light fixtures there, and that gives us what we need How far up did I take that? That gives us what we need when the sun goes down. And in fact, we can go ahead and we'll kind of test it out. Let's put this back in here. This will give us a chance to test all of our lighting out here, which is not too bad. I think that looks pretty good. Very kind of ominous, right? I mean, if you came across this, you're an Uber Eats driver and you got an order for like 12 servings of steak tartare, then probably you're already thinking something's off. And then you get here and you see this mess. I wouldn't even stop. I wouldn't even stop. I just cancel the order. I don't care. I don't care if they give me a bad review. I don't care if I get fired, right, or dropped from the Uber Eats, group. I don't care. Save yourself. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. Now, in order to put this canopy behind this throne and have her kind of climb up and go through the canopy to sit on the throne like it's curtains, we're going to have to go down the basement. And there have been a few issues with trying to put walls in a basement, especially under like platforms. And so I don't know, is it working now? That seemed to have worked. Let me try this. Let's see where that's located at. Well, that is under the platform. See, I thought I was going to have more trouble than this. I was prepared to be, really have trouble. But it does look like it is just fine. We need to move it back. Okay, never mind. So scratch all that, right? What I just said. I guess we're not having any troubles with it. It must be nothing. Just ignore it. So we're going to put this in here, and then we're going to raise it like all the way up. Quite a ways. Let's see here. We're going to need it to be further than that, I think, to look okay. So that's probably about ground level, and then we want to go up, I think about there to make up for the stairs. So let's take a look at it and let's see if it does fit. It's still a little low. I mean, it'll work there. It will work there. Does it seem too low? I don't know. I mean, it is a little low. Maybe it's a little kind of weird, like would almost shadow her face. You know what? That's kind of a good idea. It almost kind of shadow her face like that, because it's hanging down. So it'd be a little bit like that Gotcha Life. If anybody remembers Gotcha Life, do they still do Gotcha Life? I don't know. But you remember the little Gotcha shorts, and like whenever someone was kind of evil, they put that shadow across their eyes and their face. So I'm thinking right here, that's what I'm going to do here with Nancy, is we're going to just call her evil, and this kind of shadows it. And I don't have to do anything else with it. It is totally done. We're done with that part. Now, one thing I do want to add here, because this is pretty prototypical for me with a vampire residence, is a blood pool or a blood fountain or something like that. Like from the very first time I have done a vampirical residence, I've had to put in like a blood pool. In this case, it's going to be a blood fountain. And it's pretty much exactly, what you think. It is a fountain full of thick, rich, hot blood that, appeals to the sort of person that, has that culinary bent. We'll call it a culinary bent, like Nancy Landgrab does. In fact, this is probably just like an appetizer to her. Probably sitting around that fountain just makes her so hungry. So she's probably like, that's probably why she put it in. Now, in the old days, of course, when vampires first came out, we didn't have as much to work with as far as coloring the bottom of this, because we want the bottom to look like blood. We want the sides to look like blood. We want the fountain itself to look like blood. So we're going to put this in for the bottom. This is from like the Love Pack, Love Struck pack. So we'll put that there. Now, for the sides, let's just use Love Struck as well. Let's use this heavy, dark red. Put it here on the sides. See, doesn't that look good? So nice. Okay, so let's put in, we're going to need some water. Let's take red off. I don't know why it's not coming up red, because the water we're about to use is definitely red. It's this one here. Doesn't that look red? It looks like red to me. I don't know why it's not coming up under red. because it looks red. And then with the new pack, we do have some fountain surrounds that are red and gold. So we use a little bit more red and gold here. I think it's fine. And it does kind of tie into the floor. And it gives a little bit of regalness, which I guess, okay, fine. So you're going to have a little bit. So you're going to have a little bit to get her hopes up. That's why, to get her hopes up. That way she'll really think that she is a queen and not that I'm just luring her to her death in Bella Corday. Because that's basically what it's going to be. Basically, it's going to be like, oh, honey, I heard you was a queen now. Come on over and visit me. In fact, I've made a room just for you. I'm calling it the Nancy Landgrab Suite. It's kind of like a presidential suite, but it's named after you. So yeah, that's a good idea. We'll throw enough regalness in to fool her into thinking she really is a queen, and then she'll believe the trap. We'll spring the trap on her. And I just put a little poison marker there, like, don't drink this. No, you can if you're a vampire, but don't drink it otherwise. They don't chlorinate it like we chlorinate our fountains and pools and stuff, keep them from getting all nasty. This is blood, okay? This is just blood. So if you're a vampire, you can come and drink out of this, I guess. If you're feeling peckish or something, you don't want to go to the kitchen. Do they keep, I don't know. Does a real vampire keep a spare body in the kitchen just in case he gets hungry? I don't know. But if you don't want to go out to eat, drink out of the pool. So we've got our throne room pretty well set here. The only thing we're missing is a few little tombstones, right? A few little headstones scattered around, just to give that impression. Okay, so we've got a few tombstones kind of scattered in here. Just a few scattered around. I'm debating whether or not I should put any sort of wild grass or weeds or something growing out of it. In one hand, I did think about doing this as kind of a formal garden area. On the other hand, there really isn't any room for a formal garden, which is kind of too bad. I guess I could take the tombstones out and maybe do a little bit of a formal garden around this, but I'm going to decide that later, and in fact, that might be just a big surprise for the end. When we get to the end, if I'm doing the photographs, I'm thinking about it, and I think, I really don't like it. I'll take the tombstones out. I'll throw in a little bit of a formal overgrown garden or a formal kind of dead garden, right? Dead formal garden. And we'll just go that route and see if it works. Right now, speaking of what works, we're going to have Nancy. I'm going to do a little bit of playtesting real quick and see if Nancy can get to her throne. And then we're going to redesign the front of this so there's a place for her to take her podium and, just kind of lecture people and tell them what they're doing wrong, because I think that is her heart. I think that's her heart, is to lecture people and tell them how they're doing stuff wrong. So we're going to give her a podium, stand up there as the queen, and do that very thing as soon as we play test this and see if she can sit down in that throne. And she can, and look at that. Don't she look good? Doesn't she look proud of herself? She does. We're going to change her clothes. We're going to change her clothes. She needs something a little bit more regal. I know that's regal. I know that's regal for the gym at the mall. But for like real royalty, for the queen of the dam, for the queen of the night, we need something a little bit nicer than that. So we're going to have to work on our clothes a little bit. That's okay. We're going to have to keep working on this structure, though, as well. Okay, now here in the interior, I do want to redo a few things. I really like the first floor, particularly of the interior. On the second floor, though, the bedroom, with it being a starter, we had to really stick with a starter price, right? So there are several things we are going to do up there in the bedroom, but here on the first floor, we're going to do just a lot of cosmetic changes. I'm going to swap out these rugs. I used that rug there in particular because it was inexpensive. It's only like $20 per panel, and then you can blow it up real big. And it came with vampires, had kind of that look to it. Same thing with this. We'll take this out. We're going to take this furniture out. We're not going to use it. I do think I'm going to continue to use these light fixtures, but I want to change them. It's that little bit darker, a little bit of that red candle type of look. Kitchen needs to be completely redone. We've got a whole new kitchen with the Royalty and Legacy pack, and that's what we will fall back on to use. And then we're going to take out most of these, well, pretty much all of the columns. Now, I do like them because they don't disappear, but I want to use on the interior the columns from the new Royalty and Legacy pack. Okay, now I do still want something of a partition wall here, a partition wall. So we're going to put these full walls back into place. Before I just used those little bits of fence paneling to create a sort of screening effect because it was free. Those came out of debug. We're not obviously not going to maintain that for the full look that we have planned here. We're going to change a lot of this to like royalty and legacy. Let me pull it up here. I want to use this wallpaper. Which has that great, you know, super red feel to it. Kind of intimidating maybe. That's fine. I was thinking of using black as an accent, but I'm not sure I'm set on it. I'm going to stick with it for the moment, but we might change it. And actually, I almost got ahead of myself. I kind of forgot I was going to do her podium out here. I totally lost track there for a second. I did have to stop for just a moment. Of course, that's edited out. I did have to stop for just a moment. And I guess when I did that, I came back and thought, okay, it's time to start on the interior. We are going to build a quick podium here real quick. Real quick, you know. I also want to move the garbage can because Her Highness does not want to walk past the garbage to get out to her throne. So we're going to relocate that here to the corner of the property. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with... I'm going to grab that example as a full cost item. We'll go ahead and put it out here. I don't really have to, but I might as well. I just used the debug item for those pieces earlier because they were free, right? Anytime you see debug, chances are the reason why I used it, it was free. And why not? Because with those particular items, I guess also if you want to save on taxes for your lot, you're using a lot of statuary like that, you could maybe save at least a little bit by going ahead and just kind of pulling. Then we're going to pull this out across here, give ourselves a little bit wider sort of podium. We're going to need to make it one more tile out. Bring it one more tile out. Now, right now, I've got this sort of brick as our foundation cover. I think I'm going to go with that blood red brick instead for our foundation cover that I used for the throne. Let's see here. I'm going to try it out anyway. Again, give it a little bit more of an ominous sort of look as you come up. We could change the color of this brick, but I don't think we will. I think it does work pretty well. I'm going to need to extend our railing. And then the flooring type here also needs to change. So I don't want to use this particular type of flooring. Since it is for the queen, since she's going to be walking on it, we'll go ahead and do this fancy, expensive red. And this will be one place where we'll put in these new columns. We're going to put here, 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 here. Really upmarket our exterior. We're going to put them here in the interior as well. As well as we'll put them here. Kind of put them back where I had those one columns. And I think I'm going to change out this tile for this broken stone. We'll tie it in more to our throne room area. Give it a little bit more of that look. I don't know if I want to use that in the kitchen or not. I might. I do want to still use this parquet, but I'm going to switch it to a red parquet. A lot of blood has been spilled on this floor. It's kind of stained it over the years. I know, it's unfortunate. You just can't get it out. You have to, like, you know, sand the whole thing down, completely re-stain it. Okay, now we have an entirely new kitchen, so we're going to take out this existing kitchen. We don't need to keep any of it. I'm going to leave the light there until I do put a new light in, just to make it a little more visible as we're working. And we're going to put a light over here, over this kitchen too, if I need to, over the sink, because it's kind of dark. Before, as a starter, it was fine for it to be a little dark because it saved us some money, right? Now I want to have a little more light to lighten our way. I think I'm going to go with this. I don't know. Maybe I should go with just the black and gray. Yeah, let's go with the black and gray because I think I'm going to use gray countertops as well. Now, I'm going to tell you something real quick. So I really do like this refrigerator. I love it. Absolutely love it. This is what they think is black. Now, maybe it's just me, but doesn't that look green to you? Doesn't that look like literally forest green or hunter green or something like that? I'm just at a loss, and we're not going to use it in that color for that reason. I'm going to change those to gray. The reason why I'm going to use gray cabinetry is because I think under here this looks more gray than black. So I want this cabinetry to match this cabinet. And also with the refrigerator, I don't think we have a stove that is green. Like I think the black, maybe it is. Is it? Does it look green too? Let's turn it. I mean, I guess it kind of does look green as well. Kind of. So we can use either green or red for our stove. And I don't know which. Maybe like, okay, let's go with the green. And then maybe I don't know. Let's go with the green. And then maybe I'll change my mind and we'll end up going with red. I don't know. Okay, so we're going to take a look at what we have lighting wise from Royalty and Legacy. I don't think we have anything that I'm going to want to use on the wall, because what we have is this really fancy light fixture, and I don't know. It does come in black. I could put that here above the sink. It's awfully big. It's awfully big for the sink area, but I guess make it a little smaller. It's a little fancy. It's a little fancy for the sink. I don't know. And I don't think Nancy would be, Nancy Landgrab would be that nice. Like, she's not going to be anything nice here because this is just for the servants. Oh, but you know what I kind of thought? I did kind of think, well, you can see the kitchen from the dining room. So maybe she would make it like really nice because she might have to see it while she's eating. I don't think she eats in the dining room very much. I think she just drains people wherever she finds them. I don't think that she's very formal when she eats. So, but just in case she's having a dinner party or something, then, she might want to be not assaulted by a working class kitchen or where people really work. Because you don't even have to cook when you're a vampire. I mean, let's be real. The fact of the matter is, I don't know how I hit that. The fact of the matter is, you're not going to cook as a vampire. You're just going to drink, right? So there's nothing really to cook. So I guess that would be a reason why this might be nicer, is for that reason. We're going to go ahead and keep it a little bit nicer. So that way if she happens to look in there, it's going to look good. That just leaves the flooring. Now the flooring, of course. Oh, you know what? This is a 2x2 space. I mean, it's got a little bit off here to the side, but basically a 2x2 space. And the only reason why I don't use, which are some of my favorite tiles, like I love these tiles. The only reason why I haven't really been using them is because it really takes a 2x2 space like that for the pattern to look proper. So yeah, I'm going to use that there. This is my big chance. Let's put that there and there. And then even though it does go under these two items here and we don't see the whole pattern, that's okay because the pattern still matches up here at the seams. And that's kind of, the important part. Okay, so that takes care of our kitchen. Here in the dining room, we're going to just go ahead and grab, there's like a red tablecloth table with, I think gold maybe. Gold and red. We're going to treat her like a queen here in the dining room. I might put some curtains in too. Don't we have curtains? Sure we do. I'm going to go ahead and put some curtains in here because, again, being a vampire, she is going to want curtains. Most of the time I don't use curtains. As I've said before, if you've watched my videos, because you can't open and close them. But she's going to want them closed most of the time anyway. So let's see here. This comes in black. We got kind of black. Oh, that's good. What's this? Is it? Yeah, that's not bad. We'll go with that. And we'll put it over here. Although, again, tell me that does not look green. It looks kind of black over, well, yeah, it looks darker, like blacker over here, but that looks green. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I don't know if I like those or not. I love the mirrors. No, I love the mirrors. I don't know if I like them there. I'm going to have to think about that. Maybe they'll be there. Maybe they won't by the end of this video. Okay, so I'm thinking red with this sofa, but I'm also not thinking red with this sofa. It might be a little bit too much red. We do have a black version, of course. We have green and brown. I guess we'll go with the black version. The other thing I did is I went ahead and shortened these curtains because what I'm thinking is I think I like the look of them shorter than longer. And I can kind of balance these mirrors out a little bit better. We could also try real quick a tall version of this. So if we put the tall here and then we make it shorter, how does that work for us? That works, I guess, the same. Did I already have tall? I thought I had medium. Let me try this. Let me move this out of my way. Is that tall? It says medium. So this is tall. If I take the tall, oh, let's see here. Okay, is it not going to go? There we go. Now that goes down. Now it goes down. Okay, so we get it all the way to the floor that way, but it's not quite so wide. So that's what I'm going to try to do. That's what I was trying to do there. Get it to the floor, but have it not be quite so wide. Now we're going to need some sort of tables in here, and I think I'm going to use tables from Royalty in Legacy. We're going to just use these. Let me see here. This one for sure. I'm going to grab it in kind of that blood red. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use this red and black here. One thing I'm thinking is that this would kind of tie into maybe historic lore. So maybe these are really, really old, right? So these are like super old and super important to the sort of vampiric lore. Like maybe because we all came from Africa. First of all, everybody came from Africa. If you go back far enough, like a couple 100,000 years, we all stumbled out of there. So maybe like the first vampire also kind of came from out of there. And this kind of ties into that lore, right? So we'll do some of these. And when you think about it, if like the first vampire came out of Africa, like 500,000 years ago, right? Like 500,000 years ago with the rest of us, then they would be 500,000 years old. I mean, that's really old. Oh my God. I wonder if they would still even want to be alive at that point. Maybe, maybe not. We're going to double up these particular inlaid looking sort of patterns so that we get a very ornate feel to this border around this sort of compass, kind of compass setup. And then over here, not too bad. It's got some gold in it, ties in with the rest of the dining room. So all in all, it's coming along pretty well. A little more unique, a little more upscale. I could throw in a little more clutter, but I don't know how much clutter. I have to think about how much clutter Nancy Landgrab would really have and want in her home. Because like my thought is none, right? Like she's probably like really uptight. She probably likes things to be cleaned all the time and things to be put away. Of course, this is kind of a small, it's kind of a small place. So I don't know. Does she turn into a vampire? Is this the one that turns into a vampire? I mean, I know he's a werewolf. And I can't remember if this picture of the two of them together changes or not. I'm going to go ahead and put her up here. So this is a Landgrab, sort of ancestor, right? She is the one that made them all vampires. She actually looks kind of nice too. Until you see like the part where she goes like, her real self comes out. That's true with Nancy too. You might see Nancy somewhere and think, she's not so bad. She's kind of nice. And then her real part comes out and you're like, oh my God. Does anybody have a oubliette I can throw her down? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. It's on its way. Up here, I could put it maybe. I'll put it in the bedroom somewhere. I don't know. I gotta be careful. I'm planning on using some mural wallpaper up here, but I think I'm going to use it with the bed. It's kind of maybe an alcove type of setup. I think so. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and put that up here, though. I do want to use it. Now, I want it to be in a darker. I kind of want it to be in a red frame. But the red frame for this particular piece is a different look, right? We could do black. We can do gold. Golden. Kind of copper. Kind of coppery. or we've got that sort of dark mahogany. I'm gonna go with the mahogany for now, and then we'll kind of see where we land. Down here, I'm going to consider this done. I am going to consider this done. Now we're going to go upstairs. I want to use, I guess we're going to use the red upstairs as well, at least for the part, except for the part where I'm going to do the mural. And we're going to do the mural first. We're going to, I don't have a lot of room in this room, right? For a very sophisticated royal abode. And I do want to keep an office set up, which I do not have room to move downstairs. So I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to scoot this back here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wrap the wall around it. So that's going to give us kind of our sort of enclosure around the bed, because we're not going to do a canopy bed here. And then back here, I think I'll turn this into a dressing space. We do have some new, kind of like closet clothing rods where you can get your clothes. We've had those like with Dream Home Decorator and, the horses. What was the horse pack? What was the horse ranch? Horse ranch. I was about to say Ride a Cowboy. Ride a Cowboy, that pack. It was Horse Ranch. And so Horse Ranch had some of them as well. I'm going to put this chandelier up here. I'm going to get rid of this bed, and then we're going to look real quick at the mural wallpaper. That's what I want to frame in around here. The mural wallpaper comes in some black and white options, and there's one way of using it here in a corner that I think looks really, really cool. I think so. And it's this one here. We're going to find a black and white option. So we have kind of that. It's got some blue in it. We've got this. Now this definitely looks black and white. That does, that looks very black and white. I'm going to start with this. So we're going to put it here like that. And what I really like about this is it gives a sort of appearance of a Gothic, a sort of neo-Gothic or Gothic sort of arch. Like you have a Gothic corner window that you can look out, right? That you're looking out on this view. And since it's black and white, it's a little more somber. It's pulled down in tone. I love this because, again, it looks like kind of dead vegetation. And since we are building this sort of nefarious, Queen of the Dam's bedroom, we probably should go that route. That's what I'm thinking. We're going to go that route. But we do have, what was the other option here? No. Maybe this is kind of an option. So we could do this. I just don't think I like that as much. It does not line up. It really doesn't even line up as well. Not really. Although we still have the arch kind of look. The corner part doesn't really line up as well. So we are going to stick with this one here, which I think lines up pretty well. Pretty perfect. So we're going to keep that, and then on the back side we'll go ahead and we'll make it red as well. Now for the bed, I'm not going to use one of the canopy beds, although I do love the canopy bed, especially from the new pack. The more African inspired one, I adore it, but we don't want to cover up our view, right? We spent a lot of money on this sort of custom wallpaper here, this mural wallpaper. We don't want to cover that up. Although I'll bet because it's Nancy Landgrab, I bet that she got it, first of all, really cheap, right? Because she strikes me that she's probably pretty cheap. And then I think she also probably just killed the guy after he installed it before she even paid him. So she didn't even have to pay him, right? She's probably like, well, I can't pay that much. Can you do it cheaper? Can you do it can you cut me a deal? I can send you so much business. And then he got done. He's like, okay, well, let's settle up. And she just grabbed him by the neck and drained him. And that was that. And he didn't get nothing. So I don't know. I think she's just cheap to be cheap. I think she just loves that idea of just screwing people, right? She just loves that idea. And she doesn't even have to do it. She's got plenty of money and she's not going to pay them anyway. She's going to just kill them. So why? Why does she do that? I don't know. It's kind of sad. Anyway, we're going to use these columns that don't disappear because I do want to cover up. You can see the edge of the wall on each side is different because of the way the wallpaper wraps in game. Now these particular columns are not tall enough, and if we make them double size, it looks a little weird in the interior and they get really big. So we're going to just kind of raise it up like this. And then in order to cover up the bottom there, right? Because we obviously have this gap at the bottom, we're going to grab, okay, I'm going to try this again. And yeah, if we do it twice, if we make it, you know, double size, triple size, because it's really triple size, then it does feel a little bit more like it belongs there, because you do get a little bit of a bump out here and a bump out here. And it feels more like a design feature, like something just to add some element to it. So that's good. We'll go with that. And then we're going to grab a couple of our magic beans here just for the look. We're going to go ahead and stick them up on top just to keep it consistent from inside to outside. Now, obviously the tops of these particular columns would poke through the ceiling. They poke into the attic space. And like if we go down to do an interior, you know, photo, right? A Sim's eye view. That's where it actually stops, is right there against the ceiling. So you don't really see anything. I could put something there, but I don't think I'm going to, like here in this little spot. That would be red or like a light or something. One thing I could use are these plumb bob light fixtures. Now, I don't typically use these, although that's a great effect. It looks like a huge, you know, kind of jeweled effect, like a giant ruby stuck in there or something. The reason why I don't use them very much any longer, especially, is they are technically base game. They're technically base game, but they were a promotion. So when you buy The Sims 4, I assume the promotion's still going on. If you buy The Sims 4 and you had The Sims 3 and you had registered The Sims 3, then for every pack, right, that you had, every expansion pack that you had in The Sims 3, they would give you a light kind of for that pack. Like this particular light is the late night light sort of award, right? So if you had the late night expansion pack for The Sims 3, you got this red light in your game. I don't know if they're even still doing that promotion 12 years later, but obviously a lot of people don't have these items because of that reason. You had to first own The Sims 3 and you also had to have registered The Sims 3. That said, I do really like it there, and I might leave it here in this one spot simply because if it's missing, it really won't be that noticeable. It's not going to stick out that much. And it does give kind of an example of maybe something you can do with that particular reward item, right? I'm going to go ahead and grab this particular tile again. We're going to use it up here because looking at the floor, I can see that we do have the 2x2 that we need to make it fit as a whole. Now here at the end, it is going to be a little bit off, but that's going to be in our dressing room anyway, and I think we can probably manage with that. First thing we're going to do before we get to the dressing room is we're going to go ahead. Oh shoot, I brought this up here because I'm going to use it over here, I think. Let's make it a little bit bigger over here. I want to put a bookshelf here and get rid of these, is what I'm thinking. But then it occurs to me, I need someplace to put that painting, but I can put it here. So we'll put it here. We're going to grab one of our new bookshelves from the new pack. Now, obviously I don't have a lot of room here, right? Right now we're blocking the door. You cannot get into the space, and Nancy's not having that. I mean, I can tell you right now, if you block the door, you block her way into her room, oh my God. If you think she bitches about normal stuff, you should hear her there. Speaking of the door, we're going to change that out real quick. Let's change that out. Now, we've got some really fancy doors. I don't really want to use something, though, that takes a double size. I've used it so much. It is one of my favorites. I mean, I do love the grandeur of that. I'm going to keep it. And we can put the painting here in the middle. And then I just did this with the last palace I did for Royalty and Legacy. There is an included decoration. I guess like mossy gray. We're going to go with gray for the moment. I want to see how I like it. Now, I did it before as just the color of the door. And that does blend in a little bit more. It just gives it a more heavily carved appearance. So I think I'm going to turn it to gray again, so that it doesn't look so much like it was just stuck on there. It looks a little bit more as though it's a part of the door itself. Now, as I was saying, I don't have a lot of room for this bookshelf. So we're going to shove the bookshelf into the wall as far as it'll go without sticking outside. I swear to God, that looks so green. That's going to make me crazy. We might not use it that color anyway, but it does look super, super green. Because I need a desk. I'm going to need a new desk here. We're not going to use any of this stuff. I'm going to use a desk. There's a little kind of just 1x1 tile desk that we have that has a little bit of a curved leg to it. So it gives a little bit of an elevated appearance. And I don't see it here. Why isn't it appearing for me here? I'm going to pull in that heavy gold looking, very fancy looking, curved screen sort of computer on there. God knows what she's even doing on the computer. I think she's too lazy. I think she's too lazy to even learn how to use a computer. She probably just has someone. She's like, can you computer this for me? Can you figure this out? I am just so busy right now. And they're like, busy doing what? And then she drains her blood and you don't get an answer to that question because you do not question Nancy Landgrab. You don't get to question her. You should have known that anyway. Haven't you seen all the other people you work with disappear one by one? Do you think that's a coincidence? Do you think when you find their lifeless bodies drowned up, lifeless bodies? Do you think when you find their lifeless bodies just drained of blood laying in the kitchen? That just happened by accident? That didn't happen by accident. That was your employer that did that. Now we could put a nice little rug here. Again, we could do something like this. I really do like this inlaid look. So we could do something like this. It is going to lighten up the room a little bit. We could even do it like that. Or we could do that. Or that. It's not bad. I like that. That also look. I'm going to do that. So we're going to do that. It does lighten up the room a little bit, but I think that's going to be okay. I think. What else does this come in? I say that and immediately go to change it. Let me see here. Let's go with a brown. I'm not entirely set on it even still, but maybe it'll be okay. Now we cannot make this red, right? That table does not come in red. That just leaves this thing here. I can make it red, like super red, or that. I'm going to leave it green and just hope that I'm colorblind. And that everybody else is going to look at it and be like, oh, it's a beautiful black bookshelf. Oh my gosh, how thoughtful. That's just a fantastic addition there. We're going to keep this, but change it like we did downstairs. Here is our new gilded, love it, love it, love it. Gilded forest green. Hunter green, 1990s. It's 1990s. This actually does kind of look like the 90s. I almost would expect this sort of heavy gold sort of French Renaissance sort of look. Kind of had a little bit of that in the 90s in hunter green with sort of a maroon. Maroon would be a really pretty color in here, in fact. If we found a really dark, bloody looking maroon. What did I use in that fountain? Let me take a look here. What kind of was it? Let me take a look at this. What wall did we use here? Reptile ripples. Oh no, not the floor though. I want. It was I know what it was. I guess I could just look for it. It was this sort of alligator looking sort of pattern. Where was that? Love struck here, this. So we could do this in this room and we'd have a different look than we have downstairs. I don't know. It's kind of pinky there. It is kind of pinky there. It looks good in the blood pool. Totally looks good in the blood pool. Yeah, no, I think the tone's wrong. Let's just leave it at red. Okay, so we're going to leave it at red. We're going to grab some fancy clothes for our armoire, our open door armoire. I really like this particular rug, but I don't know if it's going to be in the right color to get me where I want to be. I mean, that's kind of, so maybe we can go ahead and kind of roll with it. And that just leaves our bathroom, which I don't really want to change much of the bathroom. We are going to swap out this light, and we're going to make it a chandelier. We're going to make it one of these new chandeliers. We're also going to put in the more expensive toilet that came with Vampires, which is a very old-fashioned looking tank over, over the toilet. So we'll stick that in here. And it's in red. It's in red and black. Isn't that great? Love it, love it, love it. Now, as far as showers, we did not get a new shower with the new pack, and I don't know that there's any reason to really change that one. We do have this massive new tub, but that's it, right? I mean, that's our whole bathroom. We can't do that. We just can't do that. We don't have the room in this place, but we can do it like this, and I think I think it's fine. I think it really satisfies what we want and what we've got going. I'm going to take this mirror out. I would love to use that. I think instead, does this come in black? Let's use a black version like that. Now, I do like that. I do like it in here a lot. It looks really good. And we'll go ahead. I didn't throw in a lot of clutter in here originally because I did not have the money. So when I don't have the money, like I'm not putting toilet paper in the bathroom and stuff like that at all. But here, now that we're, got a little bit of cash on hand, we'll throw in some towels. That comes in red. I could throw that on the floor, right? There you go. There it is. Don't get it wet when you get out of the shower. That'd be great if it was black toilet paper. I would love that. Who at Maxis has not thought of that? It says they're both black. It says it's black on black. In fact, basically, I think it's just that. It's not anything different than that. We'll go with that, though. We'll go ahead and we'll go with this one in black. We'll put it here on the wall. It's hard to imagine Nancy Landgrab using the toilet. I mean, it really is hard to imagine her actually kind of loosening up enough for that process to even work. But I'm going to assume that somehow through some miracle she does. I'm also going to see real quick, will this work here? No. One thing we can do is we can take this and we can put it in there. It gives us a sort of the appearance of a mirrored shower. I'm going to do that. And that's really great if you are a man or a woman. If you're a man and you're shaving, it's fantastic to be able to shave in the shower. If you're a woman and you're shaving, it's fantastic to be able to shave in the shower. In fact, don't we have a shower now that has a shaving bar in it? Look, I thought though that we did have a shower now that had like a shave bar on it. It's like if you're shaving your leg, it's got a little bar. Put your leg up on, your foot on. I don't see that. So I'm going to assume I'm wrong. I'm going to assume I'm wrong about that. I don't know where it would be. It does seem like it would be not something they would think of putting in there, or maybe it'd be too hard to put in there. Okay, and we're also going to go ahead and we're going to use this particular tile again here. I haven't got to use it enough because, like I said, it doesn't, you need a 2x2 space like that. Not like that. I need to fix it like that in order for it to really line up the way I want it to and kind of be centered in the room, right? So we'll go ahead and we'll use that here. We could maybe do it as a red to bring in some contrast. Let me take a quick look here. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to leave it at black. I'm going to leave it at black, and we're going to call that part done. And then we're going to replace this wood that is upstairs with this particular, whoops, with this particular wood. Make sure I grab the wood this time. We'll go ahead and grab the wood here and put that in place. And there we go. So that is our gentrified Queen of the Dams, home here. Nancy, enjoy it while it lasts, Nancy. Your days are numbered. Her days are numbered. Is she out of her chair? Where is she? Who told her to get up? Who did tell her to get up? Why is she out of her chair? I didn't have her go check anything else, did I? No. Her family is still in their chairs. I'm going to have to find her. Anyway, her days are numbered, but she gets to have a little bit of a dream. She gets to finally be the real queen, right? Finally, Finally, you get to be the real queen, and then you get to go down the hole. That's what you get to do. So please hit like, subscribe, and notify. I'll throw pictures up here, of course, like always, of the finished product. It's not a very big lot, so there'll probably only be a few pictures, but and they'll be done by the time I'm done talking. Probably done by now, in fact. But please hit like, subscribe, and notify. We will move on. What's the next world? Brindleton Bay, maybe, is the next pack after vampires? Maybe. I gotta check. But we'll move on to the next pack released in chronological order, and we will redo a couple of lots there. Let me take a look. Is she back here? Why does that bother? Where is she? She just probably really is a vampire. She apparated out. She's not. I haven't turned her into a vampire yet. I'm not going to, because I'm afraid she'll get out of the oubliette too easily. But she did disappear. I guess I could go into live mode and just find her. She's gone. She's at work. Who told her to go to work? I didn't tell her to go to work. I can't believe she's a worker. He didn't go to work. He didn't go to work. She went to work. And she's at work at night. What does she do? Let me look here. What is she? She's a crime lord. Oh. Well, that's why she goes to work at night. She's going to check her line of hose, I guess, right? She probably is. So, okay, she's gone off to work. Kind of disappointing. But I'll play test with her when she gets back. I'm going to turn her into a noble. I haven't done that yet. That's the thing. She's not going to be a crime lord. Well, nobility often is just another type of crime lord. It's just another type of mafia. But she's not going to be technically be in the mafia anymore. She's going to be a noble. I'm going to make her a noble, and that'll be coming up. So again, hit like, subscribe, and notify, and you'll get to see at some point, there will be a video when she goes down the hole. I don't think it'll be part of this series, the gentrification series, because there's no place really where it ties in, but it'll be there somewhere. We're just going to go down the hole. Hooray, hooray. And again, thanks until that time, until next time. Thanks for watching.